Good to be with you again. Each month I receive in the mail from the Christophers, Christopher News Notes, little pamphlet. The Christophers, of course, are a group founded by Father Keller to try to get people to do something good in their life, make the world a better place. And this one pamphlet especially caught my attention because it's entitled, Finding Joy in Difficult Times. And I thought, wow, how appropriate for all of us as we go through this time of the pandemic. And yes, it's reminding us that Jesus said himself in the Gospel of John at the Last Supper, that I have said these things to you so that you may have joy and have it complete. Joy should be the mark of every Christian. Pope Francis, in the beginning of his ministry, made it very clear in the document, the joy of the gospel, and has often said Christians sometimes come out of Mass looking sad and sorrowful, and they should be joyful that the Lord is with us. Joy is not just a fleeting emotion, a feeling. It's something very deep-seated and profound within a person who knows, I am safe, I'm not alone. Remember when we were little children and got lost or something happened and we felt terrified, and how reassuring when we knew there was a loving parent or somebody who cared for us. We were not alone. And I think as we go through life, and especially through these difficult times, it's so important for us to know we are not alone. And the Lord is saying over and over again to us, I am with you. I can recall a number of times when Jesus in his ministry said, be not afraid, I am with you. But I never counted up all the times in the scriptures, Old and New Testament, that he says that. But as the pamphlet mentions, if you add up all the times God says, be not afraid, it's 365 times. I am with you. I can't help but think back to my days in high school in Brooklyn. The Christian Brothers had a tradition that they would select some boy in each of the rooms to be the monitor. And it was his job to keep watching the clock. That every hour and half hour, unless it was the beginning of class, he would interrupt the class and say, let us remember we are in the holy presence of God. Whether we were in the classroom or the library or the gym or the field or wherever we were, we paused for those few seconds to remember we are in the holy presence of God. I'm sure a lot of teachers really don't like to see a student always watching his clock. And sometimes I remember teachers who were so frustrated when the monitor said and interrupted class, let us remember we're in the presence of God. Poor Brother Henry was so dedicated to his teaching geometry. And when the hand would go up in the middle of his presentation of a theorem in geometry, I could see him still pounding his head against the blackboard in frustration. And then it just seemed as if a wall of quiet and serenity came over him as he remembered it's more important to teach these boys about the presence of God than geometry or anything else. And when I read in one book about the different forms of mental prayer developed by the Jesuits, the Benedictines, the Franciscans, and such, and one thing that occurs in all of them, the first step really in all forms of prayer, is to remember we are in the presence of God. We're talking to someone, putting our life in someone's hands, knowing he is always with us. No matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, he is with us. And that gives us such a profound sense of inner peace and joy. I remember the first year in the seminary in St. John's in Minnesota. At the end of the year, we had a week-long retreat, absolute silence, except when we praised God. And so I developed a habit of remembering as I was in my room, Lord, you're with me here. Now I'm stepping into the corridor and walking down the corridor, and you're with me each step of the way. And now you're with me as I go down the steps, across the lawn, to a room, whatever. Even now at times I will remember as I come down the steps, Lord, you're with me each step of the way, stepping out into the porch, into the walkway, into the car, driving along, Lord, my life is in your hands. Yes, that awareness of the presence of God in our life, our God loving us, always caring for us, gives us such a sense of confidence, even as we approach all the difficult moments of life, difficult decisions, perhaps difficult moments of fear. Indeed, as it says, fear is the great enemy of that sense of peace and joy. Fear paralyzes us. I always think of the apostles gathered together in the upper room after the resurrection of Christ, all the doors and the windows locked for fear of the Jews, that they might arrest them and kill them too. And when the Spirit of God came upon them, they couldn't stay in that room. They had to open the doors and the windows and go out into the world. They knew God was with them. His Spirit was acting through them. They had that sense of joy. We have a message of joy to give to all around us. We need to radiate that sense of joy. Yes, as we go through life, especially all these difficult times that we're experiencing now in our nation and the time of the pandemic, remember the Lord who says to you over and over again, be not afraid, I am with you. God bless you and take care of you and your loved ones.